If you want to start beekeeping but you have zero experience, I've been beekeeping for 18 years and this video will help you a lot. I'm going to share some things which I wish someone told me when I was starting so you don't lose your bees. And also, if you're an experienced beekeeper, what is the one thing you wish you knew when you started beekeeping for the first time? So go in the comment section and type that down so maybe some new beekeepers can learn something from that too. First thing I want to say is that beekeeping is actually very easy. When I started, there was so many things I didn't understand and I was afraid of everything. But today, I just want to tell you, no matter what mistake you make, bees will almost always recover on their own. The secret is simple. Focus on having strong colonies and don't keep the weak ones at all. To show you some difference, I also keep many colonies of ants and they are way more advanced to care for. For example, if they get too much light, stress, vibration, they die. And if you lose the queen, there is nothing you can do to save them, and you can't merge them with another colony no matter what you do. With bees, it's so much easier. If queen dies, they will just make new one. They do most of the things on their own. Your main job is just to protect them from Varroa Mites, because that's something new for them and they still haven't evolved to fight them off. Of course, there is many things you can do to help them grow stronger and healthier, but overall, bees are very tough. So if you want to start beekeeping, there is some things you need to understand. You need to have time to inspect them regularly, you need to learn about diseases and Varroa mites, and the most importantly, you need to learn how to keep colonies strong but under control so they don't swarm. So now, how many hives should you start with? In my opinion, one hive is extremely bad idea because you cannot compare it to anything. You don't know if colony is strong or weak, if queen is good or bad, if treatment which you did is working or failing. Two hives are better, but in my opinion, whenever you want to keep bees for hobby or eventually for profit, I do believe that everyone should start with 3 beehives. So here is why. Even if you are doing everything correctly, something can always go wrong. For example, if you treat for Varroa mites and everything is perfect, but when you put the frames back, by accident you, for example, crush the queen. Now you will think that Varroa treatment failed and destroyed your hive because after you crush the queen, you will not have new brood for another 30 days or so, and this will of course weaken your colony a lot, and because of that you will think that treatment did that and that you should avoid that treatment forever, even though mistake wasn't the treatment, it was something which often happens in beekeeping. So with 3 hives everything becomes easier. You can compare queens and choose the strongest. Later you can even raise your own queen line from your best beehive. Also, if you have 2 strong colonies and 1 weak, you can always give a little brood to help weak one recover, and to those strong colonies you actually prevent swarming and you will have really nice strong colony before honey flow. So since I mentioned that, you also need to remember that when you are moving brood frames or bees overall, you also need to understand that with that brood you are moving all the diseases and Varroa mites from that colony which you are taking brood from to another colony. So you always need to be sure that you are keeping extremely healthy colonies in your bee yard. As soon as you notice something wrong, do not move any bees or any brood from one colony to another. So now, where to place your beehives? Honestly, this is most important thing for new beekeeper, because first you need to make sure that your hives are far away from neighbors. When I started, I placed bees in garden. I didn't even ask anyone, and at first nobody cared. With just few colonies everything was fine, but when I grew to 11 colonies there was bees everywhere. So one lady told me she got stung. She wasn't angry, she just mentioned it, but from that moment I felt terrible every single time when I needed to open hive, because I know that bees will be more defensive that whole day, and honestly I started to avoid every single inspection. And from that experience I learned, if you have neighbors close by, do not keep bees in your backyard even if they say that they are okay with it. Of course, if you can't move them, if you don't have any other place, you could add solid fence if possible, so bees will fly higher and avoid people, and the neighbor won't even notice that you are doing inspections. So if you have options to choose your location, it would be great if you could put your bees somewhere where you have morning sun, because it helps colony to wake up earlier and it keeps hive warm, so bees spend less energy. What is also extremely important is that you should protect it from strong winds. You always need to have your clean water, and please do not rely on rivers and pools because it's not clean. Bees can drown and a lot of people are getting angry if there is a lot of bees drinking from the pool. So it would be perfect if you can have your own clean water source from start of the season, even if bees are not visiting it from the start. Also extremely important, do not keep them close to the rivers, because that means high humidity and you will have a lot of mold and diseases, and winter is going to be way harder. Then you should avoid deep shade, because colony is growing slower, queen mating can be worse, and some pests like small hive beetle, and even they say that varroa is actually spreading faster if they are in dark and big shades. So for small hive beetle I'm sure of, and for varroa some people say so and I'm not 100% sure of it. And also it would be extremely good if you can leave them from the ground just 20 or 30 centimeters, and then you're going to prevent rot, ants, moisture, and your inspections are going to be so much easier. So then everything what you actually need to start beekeeping. It would be great if you can avoid overspending, because you don't know if beekeeping is for you. It does require a lot of things and maybe you just don't find it interesting and you give up. So you don't want to put a lot of money in until you see if this is for you or not. I would suggest only like 3 beehives, protective jacket and gloves. Please do not work without protection, because you have no idea how your body will react on stings. Then you need hive tools, you need smoker, then feeders are recommended, and honestly it's just cleaner and safer if you can use normal bottles. If you want to see how to use them, you can go on my channel and you can see it over there. And then later you can think of honey extractor and maybe even queen marking tools, because it's so much easier to do inspection if you can mark your queen. So when should you start beekeeping? The best time to start beekeeping is by far in the spring. To explain you why, when you buy bees in spring, those colonies have already survived winter, which tells you a lot. They likely have strong healthy queen, they are probably clean from pests and diseases, they shown that they are a good resilient colony, and spring also give you many months to learn and build them up before next winter. Which means buying bees in the fall is much riskier. Anyone can sell colony in the fall, even the weak ones which is not yet prepared for the winter. They probably have a lot of varroa in the brood, and if you are new beekeepers you will not understand how to fight with it and your colonies will die in the winter. The thing is that you cannot actually go over there and check if colony has varroa or not, because she is hidden in the cup brood. So only thing what you would need to do is to destroy some brood before buying colony, and trust me, no one will ever give you to do that. Also, if you're starting in the spring, please try to get young queen. Just mention that to the seller, and if he is professional, he might even have them marked, so you are then 100% sure that she is young. If she is, for example, older, there is bigger risk that she is going to die or that she is going to swarm faster, and queens are always good to be like 1 or 2 years old, because if she is older than that, there is big chance that she didn't mate good, and it could be that she start actually lay only drone brood, which will eventually kill your colony. So starting in the spring gives you the strongest colony, you will get best learning experience, and you'll have full season to build healthy bees. So your bigger mistake which you could do is ignoring varroa. So this is #1 killer of the bees worldwide, and they are going to weaken your bees, and then your bees are going to get viruses and your entire hives are going to die. So as beginner you need to learn how to monitor mite levels, how to treat on time, and don't rely on luck, because no matter what you do, if you do not treat them from varroa, they will 100% get affected. So if you're curious about my treatments, they are going like this. Every single spring I'm making sure that varroa is on low levels, and I'm doing that by using oxalic acid when bees have 0 brood in winter. So this is destroying around 99% of varroa. Then in spring I'm not doing anything about varroa because they are supposed to be clean. In early summer I'm getting a lot of honey flow, which means I cannot use anything to treat varroa with, but I'm giving to every colony to build drone frames, which then later I remove and destroy, because varroa likes to be in drone frames, because drones needs 24 days to develop. So they just go there, they hide, they try to reproduce, and before those drones go out you need to remove those frames and destroy them. And this is very nice and safe way to destroy Varroa in your hives, but this will not remove 100% of Varroa. You are just like keeping them in some nice level until fall comes, and then you are going again, you're treating Varroa so you can have healthier bees for the winter. And then when winter comes, when you have no brood, in December probably you are going to use oxalic acid again. Another mistake which a lot of beekeepers need to follow is how much food you have in spring. So in spring you have so many flowers, everything is blooming, and you will feel like everything is great, but if they don't have a lot of food reserves, you will need to act, because if there comes 4 or 5 days of bad weather, your whole beehive can starve and die. So they are producing a lot of brood in spring so they can have perfect season, but in bad weather they need a lot of food to keep all that brood warm. So with sugar syrup, which is super cheap, you can save your whole beehive. So always make sure, if they don't have food, to make them sugar syrup, but also please remember, if you feed them with sugar, that same sugar will be in your honey once flow starts. So make sure not to overfeed them and then later think that all those frames of sugar syrup which you gave them, that now they are honey, because they are not. And best way to prevent this is actually to extract all the honey from the hive before the flow, and then you can add that food back when you extract the honey, or you can even wait and give them in the fall for the winter. Next mistake which a lot of beekeepers are doing is too many inspections. So you don't want to open them all the time. Perfect would be probably every 2 weeks, but before honey flow you probably want to do it a bit more, because you want to prevent every single beehive to go into swarm mode. So if they actually start to swarm, they will not work at all, and your honey flow will actually be fully ruined. So most checkups you will actually do to check if they have enough of food. So you don't want to pick every single frame up, just open them, check side frame first for food. If they have enough, that's it. And if you want to check if colony still has the queen, just take one frame from the middle and look for eggs. If they have one old egg inside, you probably have the queen inside. And if you want to check if they are actually swarming or not, you can just pick the whole box up, and then you can check from the bottom if there is queen cells or not. What I would also recommend if you are just starting is that you type down every single inspection which you do, especially if some beehives have issues, because trust me, you forget things very quickly if you don't type them down. So before you start with beekeeping, you should really go and check if you have some allergies on bee venom. If for example you are allergic, please do not keep bees, because I wear protective gear all the time. I have thick gloves, and every single month I'm getting 5 to 10 stings, no matter if I'm wearing it or not. So please don't think that protective gear will save you, because it will not. To everyone who don't have allergy, please still use protective gear, especially if you are working alone, because you don't actually know when you will actually start to be allergic. So now some things which will make your bees more calm while you are doing your inspection. So you need to stay calm, and you should not work fast, because every single fast movement will make your bees angry. Then this one is very important: do not inspect during storms or at night. It's best if you can do it in the morning on sunny day without wind. So why in the morning is because a lot of bees are outside and you will have less bees in the hive, but honestly wind is number one why your bees are extremely angry. Then don't use perfume and such. Try not to do many vibration, and try to wear white or yellow stuff, because like dark ones are actually make them angry. So I actually noticed, and a lot of beekeepers will actually say the same, is if you have strong colonies, they will actually not be aggressive at all. So once again, try to have strong colonies, because weak ones are the ones which are actually very aggressive, especially if they are affected with Varroa, and especially if they don't have enough food. So then, as always, you can see that everything what you need to focus on is to have strong colonies, healthy colonies, and you need to make sure that they have enough of food. So go check my other videos, because I'm doing a lot of experiments, and hopefully they will help you a lot. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.